Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Live from My Drum Room and part two of Track Talk with legendary drummer, founding member of Bad Company, and yes, returning champion Simon Kirke. Simon was my guest on February 21st for part one of Track Talk when we did a deep dive into Bad Company's epic self titled debut record. If you haven't watched it, be sure to check it out. The link will be in the show notes. It's up on YouTube now, and you can download the podcast on all the podcast platforms. And today we're going to pick up where we left off on part two and do a deep dive into more iconic Bad Company tracks, beginning with their second record, Straight Shooter, and just kind of moving on down the line. So please welcome back the legendary Simon Kirke to Live from My Drum Room. Hey, welcome back, Simon.
Hey, buddy.
Nice to see you. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, and again, I want to thank you for doing part one. So much great response to it, and per your great suggestion of doing this in two parts, we were really able to give the first record, really, I feel the attention it needed in terms of all those great songs. And so today we're just going to sort of press on and jump into the second record. And
Sure.
yeah, and lots of folks watching, and again, I want to tell everybody at home too, Simon's being such a sport because I know he's being inundated, doing these interviews and things for the being nominated to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So thank you for taking time.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, so Straight Shooter released,
Straight shooter, yes.
yeah, 50
Well,
years ago this month. Crazy.
oh my God. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing. For me, it's still my favorite Bad
Yeah.
Company album. Yeah. And I think what separated it from the first one was that between the end of making Bad Co, the first one, and starting Straight Shooter, we toured all over, pretty much all over the world.
Mhm.
So when we convened, I believe it was February of '75 to record it. We'd done maybe a couple of hundred shows together. So we were musically as a foursome, we had progressed, we were tight, some great songs,
Great
uh,
songs.
and also Clearwell Castle was this place that Peter Frampton had mentioned to me a couple of months prior. Said you got to check out this castle because in those days Zeppelin were doing it in the country,
Mhm.
Traffic were doing it in the country, and we joined that band of groups who wanted to get out of the recording studios. So we rented, I believe it was Ronnie Lane's Mobile. It might have been the Rolling Stones, and we went to this beautiful castle, and we set up, and the songs just flowed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, boy, and it's what I love about this record, it's hard to it's interesting you said it's your favorite, and I totally understand that as the person that created it, and it's the first record was so perfect. It's so hard to as a listener to say that record could be anything could be better than that. But I understand what you're saying, Simon. And as I do a deep dive and a deep listen to the second record, it's like you had the same formula from the first record, but more adventurous with some of the things
Correct.
you did. Yeah, and you could tell
Yeah,
you were
that's a good
comfortable.
point. The first record was, it was eight kind of solo tracks. Mick had written "Can't Get Enough" and "Moving On," by himself. Paul had written "Rock Steady." Yeah, me and Paul collaborated on "Bad Company," but the difference between that and "Straight Shooter" was that there was much more collaboration,
Yeah,
particularly with Feel Like Making Love, Good Loving Gone Bad. That's when Mick and Paul sat down in the same room and created songs together. And I think that Straight Shooter was the first Bad Company album that showed what we could do as a band, four guys together.
yeah, yep. Well said. Well said. Well, let's jump in. Let's play. I believe I think this was the first single, "Good Loving Gone Bad."
Yeah.
Probably, again, saying my favorite. I just love this song so much. What you play in this song, again, compositionally, all the different sections, it's just got so much happening in this song. Um, the band really like as it is at another level. And to your point, Simon, you said where you guys had been touring all that time. It
Right.
really sounds like it here. It's like just a well-oiled machine. So let's just jump right in.
Sure.
Here we go. What a track.
Wow. Yeah, good
Wow.
crap. My goodness. I think what separated that from I don't know, it was almost like a tip of the hat to All Right Now in that I played it with fours on the hi-hat, gone, buck, gone, buck,
Mhm.
gone, buck. I don't know, maybe it was a subconscious but listening to it back, I realize now why we very rarely did it on stage because it was so high for Paul.
Yeah, yeah.
For the guitarists out there, it was in A, which is a true rock and roll key. But I think had we pitched it in G, maybe a step lower, it would have, I don't know, we would have done it better. I thoroughly enjoyed playing it because you had to, every now and again, you had to break down into half time,
Yeah, yeah.
which sort of propelled the chorus, and it was a landscape of different feels, that song. Um,
Perfect. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, it was a real kick-ass song. I loved it.
That's I could talk about this song all day, and you just said it perfectly. That the landscape, that halftime breakdown that you do during that bridge into the chorus, and you're playing these little lopey little things that it's not. You didn't play just a straight halftime. You just did this little floating that just takes it along for a ride. You know what I mean? It's just when I hear
Yeah,
that,
no, grace,
yeah,
yeah, grace notes. Well, when you're playing fours, like don't, which is what it was, and then you come down to half time,
yeah,
it that ba 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 ba. It sort of lends itself to those. Bonzo did them so well. Those ba
yeah,
ba, those little, I don't know what they are, eighth notes on his left hand,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I guess that's what it was. I never thought of
And
that.
yeah, and Paul's vocal, I mean, God,
Oh,
I mean, it's hard to find, from any other, not just Bad Company
mm.
library.
There was another song similar to that on Straight Shooter, "Deal with the Preacher," which was another real kick-ass one. And as the years progressed, those two songs, "Good Loving" and "Deal with the Preacher," kind of faded in because he was saying, "Oh, fucking hell, this is high, man. It's one thing to do it in a studio where you can
Yeah,
have a break and do another take and so on, but they were, yeah, they were really, really good songs. I
yeah.
loved it.
I meant to tell you this the first time on the last show, I should say, and I want to make sure I mention this because I consider myself still a good friend of Jason Bonham's. We
Oh,
worked together during my time at Zildjian, and I remember this would have been 30 odd years ago. We were out traveling on like a clinic tour that Jason was doing for us, and we got to talking about you and Bad Company, and I remember him telling me, and I'm sure you already know this, but he told me that he learned to play drums by listening to you, by listening to Bad Company records. Of course, he listened to his dad, but he
yeah.
said, he said, which surprised me, when he said that, only from the standpoint of knowing how important his dad was to him as an influence,
Yeah.
but he gave you so much props and that,
Oh.
um,
But
you know,
the thing about when you're growing up with John Bonham as your dad, I mean, Bonzo's, you can't really learn if you're a beginner as a drummer. You start doing Good Times, Bad Times, or rock and roll. It's like, fuck me, you're in at the deep end.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
Black Dog, with those weird turnarounds. So I remember, and I'll tell you a great little story. When Bad Company played in Birmingham, which is in the Midlands, which is, of course, John Bonham's home and Robert Plant's home. And unbeknownst to that, Zeppelin had been on a hiatus. And Jimmy and John Paul were meeting the Bonzo and Robert at one of their houses to talk about, hey guys, let's bury our differences, let's get back together. And we got them all to come to the theatre, unbeknownst to each other.
Oh,
So
wow.
about halfway through the show, Paul turned to the audience and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have a little break now, and we're going to bring on some friends of ours. Would you please welcome to the stage Led Zeppelin?"
Oh my God.
The roof was shaking when these guys walked on, and Bonzo, there was a pair of congas there, and I thought, what? I never play fucking congas. What are they doing? And apparently Bonzo had asked for a pair of congas because he knew he was going to get up on stage. He thought he was the only guy there, and he walks on, and I get off the kit and hand him my sticks. He said, "No, no, I'll play congas." I said, "You are John Bonham. You are sitting on my kit. I play congas." And then after that, so after this wonderful reunion, we all went back to Bonzo's house, and a little 8-year-old Jason Bonham was rousted out of bed to play a mini kit that
Yes.
Ludwig had made for him. John had had it made for him, a mini version of the Zeppelin kit. And he was playing along to some free records on a jukebox. And he was just a little kid. You
Oh
know,
my God.
he could barely touch the bass drum pedal. And now he's this, I mean, he's one of the greatest drummers around.
Yeah, yeah. Boy, is he
So
ever. Yeah.
I guess my
Oh.
songs were a little easier to learn than rock and roll, you know.
Well, you're being humble. I think it's so great that we got to talking about Paul, and him, he said, we both just immediately said, greatest rock and roll singer ever, Paul Rogers, and he was talking about how much your playing influenced his playing. And I thought that was so great that he, like you say, he recognized that there was more to trying to jump in at the deep end and trying to play some of the
Right.
stuff that his dad
Well, it's
was known
like,
for playing.
it's like anyone, John, when you learn, I learned a lot from Ringo. And I see now in the days of TikTok and YouTube short videos, you see these 6, 7 year old prodigies who are
Yeah,
just
yeah.
but there's a Spanish guy, late 20s, Siberian Estebaria. I mean, have you seen this guy?
I have not. No.
Oh my God. And now he's relatively old. He's probably
Yeah,
28, 29, but he does things that are just out of this world on a very small kit. My point is that back in my day, I learned a lot from Ringo
yeah,
about feel and simplicity. That was my style. I'm not, I'm not a Neil Peart. I'm not a Vinnie Colaiuta. I wished I was because those guys just, but would it have fitted with Bad Company? No, of course it wouldn't.
no,
So
no.
I learn simple and I pass on my teachings, my education to people who will take that particular ball and run with it. They might blossom into a prog rock, a Portnoy or a Thomas Lang, but they start don't back back back. That's how you start.
Yeah, yeah,
And if you want to go elsewhere with your band, fine. Um,
yeah.
but
Well said. Yeah,
that's what we're just passing it on.
yeah. No, that's beautiful. Well, let's keep moving along. And I did have a question. I'm assuming it's the same kit you used on the first record. It's the same Ludwig kit, more or
Yeah.
less,
I was
on
just
this. Yeah,
cleaning it in the basement last night, actually, the original Bad Company kit, which we had to stuff the bass drum because it 26 by 14. And we had to put, anoraks and blankets in it because it was so boomy.
yeah,
I,
yeah.
I didn't want to upset John Bonham because he got the kit for me. Do not
No,
upset John Bonham.
no. Do not upset John Bonham. Oh man, that's great. And I think it was the same engineer.
Ooh, I think it
Um,
was. Yeah, we
yeah.
used the same guy.
Ron
I
Nevison, I think it was.
Ron Nevison. Ron
Ron
Nevison.
Nevison, yeah. And I mean, it sounds similar, but I think what's great about this record, really, to like the discerning drumming ear, to me, is the drums are even more present. Like there's just it feels like and sounds like that the toms just have that little extra kind of
Hmm.
punch to them, and I mean, they sounded great on the first record, and we talked about all that great isolation you had on that first record,
Right.
but
Well, that's
these
an
sound.
interesting point, John, because as I said in the preamble, we were all together now. We'd been all around the world. We'd played hundreds of shows, and I was much more confident about what I wanted. In because sometimes you might know this, you play something in the drum room with the guys, you
Sure.
walk in to control them, and everything is like small. It's like, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't play the snare drum like that.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
So I had a little bit more of a say as to how I wanted the drums to sound. And I took Jimmy Page's advice and got those two ambient mics, and we cranked them up, not to infinity, but to about 8 out of 10. And it gave that wonderful,
yeah.
that lovely percussive shell around the drums. And I think that's what you're hearing
That explains it.
on
Yeah,
Straight Shooter. Yeah.
they sound nice and big. Um, let's play "Feel Like Making Love," and this, I want to say this was not. Oh, this was the second single, correct, from the record.
It was our
This
biggest
was
song next to Bad
biggest
Company.
song, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
There's a
All
great
right.
story behind that, but we'll talk about it in a minute.
Fantastic. Okay, here it comes.
about you, I think about love. Darling, I don't live without you and your love. If I had those golden dreams of my yesterday, I would wrap you in the heaven, but they lay dying on the way. Feel like making, feel like making love, feel like making love, feel like making love, feel like making love to you. Baby, if I think about you, I think about love. Darling, if I live without you, I live without love. And if I had the sun and moon, and they were shining, I would give you both night and day love satisfying. Feel like making, feel like making love, feel like making love, feel like making love, feel like making love to you. And if I had those golden dreams of my yesterday, I would wrap you in the heaven, really dying on the way. Feel like making, feel like making love, feel like making love, feel like making love, feel like making love to you. But I feel like making love, but I feel like making love,
Man, everybody watching at home is saying the same thing. Your feel is just ridiculous on that song. That is not for the squeamish, you know.
No, but it's funny, I'm listening to Boz by the way, your sound system's incredible.
Oh,
But Boz,
great.
our dear old bass player, we were getting so carried away at the end. We were actually in the same room, unlike the first album.
Yeah, yeah.
And Boz was, prancing around, whoop, whoop, on this fretless bass of his. We just couldn't stop the track. That's why we eventually faded. I think there was maybe another 90 seconds after that where we just went crazy. So,
Wow, wow.
yeah, but
Man,
it's
yeah.
great song.
Eh,
But I think the story behind that, most people know this, it was born out of two songs.
I did not know that. No.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
what it was Mick had this little country ditty, Mick loves country. And he had this which was, it was nice. It wasn't really going anywhere. And Paul had this. And I said, why don't you put them together? So you've got this kind of lilting country, boppy little country thing, and suddenly it becomes this, shag me sort of, chorus. And
Yeah, yeah.
whenever we played it, the girls in the audience, once you hit that ba ba ba, they went, oh, so
Yeah,
we
I
knew
mean,
we were onto something.
yeah, I mean that is to me has always been the secret weapon to that song is, this beautiful sort of ballady, groovy feeling tune, and then you get to that chorus, and it's just
Yeah.
power like for days, and just and when you start playing, like as you say, as you really get into it, and you start playing all those fills and the toms,
Mm.
as I got older and really appreciated what you were doing, and the fact that you could hold the time the way you did. You held the tempo. It never moved,
Mm.
which is, again, if drummers are being honest, that's not an easy thing to do when you're playing with power and you're playing with that sort of intensity to still hold it there, and keep that feel.
Yeah, that's I never thought of that. That's the dreaded click track
Ugh,
started to rear its ugly head around about that time. And I said, absolutely no effing way am I playing to a click track. I will do the first 8 bars. If you want to, this actually came not on Straight Shooter, it came on Run with the Pack, the next album. They started introducing this bloody click track. I said, fine, but it is impossible to play fills around a click track. It just gets in your head. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
never ever used the click track. And I guess, going back to my youth, when I was playing in this little disco to all these different songs, we talked about it on the last session, you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
a little waltz there and then a little tuba here and then some early Beatles. And you just had to be in time. Otherwise, it would sound out of sync and so on and so forth. So when I'm going around the kit, my right foot is my anchor.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You come back in on the one. And that was my sort of secret weapon, if you will.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're gifted with that, Simon. And that's to me, it's your time and your feel. It's
Mm.
unmovable, in all these songs, and to your point too, I'm sure it goes back to the training, for lack of a better word. Playing when you were younger to having to cover all those different things that can only improve and help that ability that you have.
I think also, just before we go on to the next track, a lot of people know that I also play guitar, and I've been playing guitar as long as I've been playing drums. So to have a particular knowledge of what the guitarist is going through,
Yeah.
he towards the end of that song on the outro, Mick was doing ba bum ba bum ba bum like an echo thing, ba
Hmm.
bum, and I go dugga dugga dugga. So a little push with the left hand, dugga 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 ba bum ba bum. It
Yeah.
kind
Yep.
Had I not had a knowledge of that guitar, I doubt that fill would ever been born. It's
Right.
just sort of cross pollination of drums and guitar.
Yeah, no, good
Mick was
good
always
point.
saying, you can play my guitar anytime, boy. Don't worry. Um, yeah, but dear Mick.
Yeah.
Anyway, but
No,
that's
that's great. I'm glad you mentioned that. And two more points I was going to make about that too. One being about Mick and his choice of the solo. You know, his the solo part that he plays is so beautiful, so understated. He chose to just play this melodic little, instead of a screechy. I can't even imagine how it would have sounded if he played anything different. But it's just so beautiful what he played
no,
there.
you're absolutely right, John. He fitted his phrases in between Paul's ad libs. They took
Yeah. Yeah.
turns in a way. 2 bars here, 2 bars from Paul.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, Mick was one of the most underrated, beautifully lyrical player. Uh,
Yeah. So
yeah,
much soul, so much soul. And you playing those little bass drum little, triplety doubles that you're doing in those little playing that in my cover band as a teenager, I could never get it to feel like I'd try to play those things and of course 14 years old, the time would get all jagged and weird and I'd go, okay, I can't do that. I can't make it feel like
let's move
Simon
on.
Kirk. Anyway, so I'm going to play a song uh, that surprisingly was never a single, and I only recently learned this that Shooting Star.
Huh.
It just seems like this song. It's as popular an album track as it could ever be, I suppose, because it's
Yeah,
just such a
I think there was I don't know, not necessarily a backlash, but the fact that it dealt with addiction, the rise to fame, and the ultimate demise of
I
John
see.
was not considered 50 years ago single material. You also got to remember that we were being on Swan Song, Zeppelin were the ultimate non-single band. They never released singles.
Right,
So
right.
we were slightly more poppy in the literal sense of the word. We didn't do 7 minute, you know, uh, you know. So we had a more commercial appeal. But I think when it came to feel like making love, great. We're in the era of era of peace and love. I can't get enough of your love, great. But Johnny died one night, died in his
Yeah,
bed.
yeah,
I don't think so. But it's still, I do it in my solo shows. It's still one of the greatest songs. Unfortunately, it's still as relevant today, 50 years on, as
yeah,
it was
yeah.
back then. The addiction is all around us. But great song.
Great
Love.
song. And I actually saw you do this with Ringo and the All Stars years
Oh,
ago. Sang it beautifully. I mean, really, you did it great justice. Played it perfectly, sang it perfectly. So
well, I tell you,
bravo.
how was this to have the first verse? Johnny was a schoolboy when he heard his first beat song, and he had Ringo to my right going, "Yes, yes."
Right, of course. Yeah, yeah. I remember just a funny. I happened to see Ringo. I've seen him many times. At one time, I went with Joey Kramer of Aerosmith, and
Sure.
we went in together. Good Joey's from Boston, and we go backstage to see Ringo. And Joey had never met him before, so and this is just funny because I don't know how well you know him, but Joey's not someone to fawn all over people, other drummers. He doesn't
Oh,
really
okay.
do that. But he's saying to Ringo, I just want to tell you that, you're the reason I play the drums or something. And Ringo said, I've heard that before. It's just, I get that a lot or something.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was very, very funny, but oh, God bless Ringo. So I'm going to play. I won't play the entire song. I know it's a long song, and we've
It's a
got
long
lots of
song.
music to listen to. So we'll play Shooting Star and same record, and what a great song.
Johnny was a schoolboy when he heard his first Beatles song. Love me do, I think it was, and from there it didn't take him long. Got himself a guitar, used to play every night. Now he's in a rock and roll outfit and everything's alright. Don't you know? Johnny told his mama, hey mama, I'm going away. I'm gonna hit the big time, gonna be a big star someday, yeah. Mama came to the door with a teardrop in her eye. Johnny said, don't cry, mama, smiled and waved goodbye. Don't you know? Yeah, yeah. Don't you know that you are a shooting star? Don't you know? Don't you know? Don't you know that you are a shooting star? In all the world will love you just as long as you are. Johnny made a record, went straight up to number one. Suddenly everyone loved to hear him sing a song. Watching the world go by, surprising it goes so fast. Johnny looked around him and said, well, I made the big time at last. Don't you know? Don't you know? Don't you know that you are a shooting star? Don't you know? Whoa, yeah. Don't you know that you are a shooting star? Yeah. And all the world will love you just as long as you are. Yeah, shooting star. Don't you know that you are a shooting star? Don't you know? Don't you know that you are a shooting star now? And all the world will love you just as long as you are. Johnny died one night, died in his bed. Bottle of whiskey, sleeping tablets by his head. Johnny's life passed him by like a warm summer day. If you listen to the wind, you can still hear him play. Don't you know that you are a shooting star? Don't you know? Don't you know? Don't you know that you are a shooting star? Don't you know? Don't you know that you are a shooting star? Don't you know? Don't you know? Don't you know that you are a shooting star?
I couldn't fade it before that one little thing you just did there. It's always been one of my favorite little.
Ba-da-boom, ba-ba-bum, ba-ba.
Yeah. There's so much of that. Again, we could spend all day on just this song, but I just have to say, Simon, that your feel, again, where you put the beat on the snare drum, the 2 and the 4, it's just a little behind.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's you. I know you're known for that, but on that song, it's just like, oh my God, it's just so incredible. Just what a feel.
I think when you get emotionally invested in a song, when a song starts to mean something to you rather than just a string of 8 bars or 16 bars and a fill here, and you get invested, you get emotionally attached. And we all became emotionally attached to that song. That's why it went on for so bloody long. I believe it was about 6.5 minutes. Once again, there was another minute or 2 after that before we finally collapsed in a heap. But there was something about that song that just lifted us spiritually. I don't want to sound all zen, but something about that song that was magical, and it sustained us. And it still became one of the most popular songs, and a song that I look forward to every night when you look down the set list. Oh, Shooting Star, great.
Yeah, great. That says a lot right there. I mean, it's all these songs that you've played so many times, it would be easy to kind of say, but no, that says a lot when it's still, 50 years on, you're still enthusiastic about playing it. And, And I was just going to say that any song to me that's 6.5 minutes long, but never ever sounds boring or really, because it's just, even though you're sort of in the outro, you're playing sort of the same pattern. There's different things happening. You're doing some different things. You're playing some really cool, subtle things that just enhance what's happening. And Mick's playing some great guitar, some soloing, and a great song, man. Just
Now I wanted to jump in here because we talked in the preamble about doing Anna, and I wanted to actually showcase the other song that I'd written.
Sure, of course, yeah.
No more, because there's a great story behind it. So if that doesn't upset your schedule, I would have preferred to do that.
I love it.
Yeah, okay. All right. So let's move on.
Okay, let's put this on here. Hang on a second. I had Ainsley Dunbar on. I think I mentioned to you I was going to have him the other day. And Ainsley, and I mentioned to you, by the way, that you had some nice things to say about seeing him in your younger days, and he had a big smile on his face. But Ainsley started throwing all these audibles at me, which I thought, he was kind of pressed for time, and he said, "How about, can we play this song? Can we play that song?" So I'm happy to and thank you for suggesting it. Can we play Anna now though? We'll play that.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll play a bit of this because I love the feel of this song, and everybody watching at home, this is also from Straight Shooter. This is Anna, written by Simon Kirke, and I'm sure people know this song, but it's a great waltz feel. Drum track, and just a great tune overall. So let's dig into it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sweet little angel, and I love her so. She's there when I need her. She understands when I say go. In the night, when she says hold me, it makes me feel so strong. Living with her unfolds me. yeah, yeah. A simple woman. I have found me a simple woman. Ooh, yeah. A simple woman for a simple man. I found me a simple woman. A simple woman. Oh, yeah.
Man, bravo, Simon. Wow.
I haven't heard that for a very, very long time. I thank you for bringing it back. I
Yeah.
love it. Wow.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you for writing it. And you wrote that on guitar, I'm assuming. That was how that song came to be. Or do
I
you play
wrote it on
piano too?
piano.
On piano. Okay.
Wrote it on piano.
I would have thought so. And I didn't know if you played piano, but I would have thought, yeah, it
Well,
would
I
lend
learned
it.
on piano around about a year before Bad Company was formed, and I learned on C major. Most keyboard players know that C is all the white notes and so on and so forth, but the easiest key, and I kind of stuck with that. And Anna was one of the first songs that came out of that. So,
Yeah.
and Paul
And
sang the shit out of it. I'm so
oh
pleased
man.
to hear that again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did he ever?
Yeah.
Everybody. I mean, great performance. And when you wrote it, obviously you wrote it with that waltz, that three feel to it.
Right.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it just
Yeah.
flows. I mean, it's
Right.
beautiful. Well, yeah. So let's play "Weep No More." We'll just sort of keep moving. And I did have a question. I know you mentioned it was the same kit you used for the first record, and maybe we could just quickly do a quick reminder. It was a Ludwig kit with a 26-inch bass drum, 14 by 26. Was it a 10 by 14 rack
It
tom or
was
9 by
I
13?
only it came with three toms, two racks and a floor. Actually, it came with four because Bonzo insisted I have two
Second
floor
second floor
tom.
tom.
Listen to this: the second floor tom was 18 by 20. I
I
said,
knew.
John, I mean, I can hang my coat on it and put my drinks on it, but I'm never going to play it. So in the end, I used the 2614, my Black Beauty snare, 10 by 14 rack, and 16 by 16.
16. Yeah.
Tom.
Yeah. So four-piece kit really kind of all the time, right? I mean,
All
that's
the
yeah.
time. Yeah.
That's what we're hearing. It's yeah, what a great sound. And the cymbals were Peisty,
I see.
probably 2002s and maybe
Yeah,
602s
14
or
inch hi-hat, 16-inch crash on the left, 20 crash ride as my ride, and another 16 on the far right. I flirted once with China cymbals, but they were horrible.
yeah, yeah.
I sent them back to Pasty. Thank you, but no,
Thanks,
not
but
my
no,
style.
no, the crashes you always I mean I always love the sound of your cymbals. They just um they're just explosive. They get out of the way fast. They have a great sound and they accent where you want them to accent and then they don't stick around for too long and
No.
yeah, it's
Well,
beautiful.
a quick note about Weep No More. I've always loved doing a shuffle. Ever since I was a kid, I was enamored of the blues shuffle. And the king at that time was B.B. King's drummer named Sonny Freeman. And
Hmm.
I got in cahoots with Mick Fleetwood over the years. And we were both, and I always thought Mick Fleetwood was the king of the white boy shuffle, and he still is to my
Yeah.
estimation. He's one of the greatest unsung drummers. I don't know if you've ever seen
Oh
John.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Fleetwood Mac, he does
Yeah.
drum solo. His playing is impeccable. I love Mick. But we both got together and said, Sonny Freeman, oh my God. Um, so when I wrote Weep No More, and this is an honest steal, I just listened to Aretha Franklin, Amazing Grace, the live album that she'd done in LA of gospel songs. And there was a song called Mary, Don't You Weep. And
Mm.
it just popped into my head. And in the beginning, it was Mary, don't you weep, like a 2 and 4.
Mhm.
Mary, don't. Then I thought, Mary, don't you weep. And it kind of swung and flowed a little bit better as a shuffle. And you alluded to a slower version about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
That was the original. And I think we must have been on some kind of dope or something because it doom, doom, doom. And it was like, no, it had a little appeal to it, but it didn't swing.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
ended up redoing it to what I felt was the optimum BPM, if you were. And we put strings on it, a full orchestra.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite songs, not only because I wrote it, but that Paul singing, mixed guitar, this beautiful 40-piece orchestra in the background. I wanted to emulate B.B. King's The Thrill Is Gone. And
Yeah.
yeah, and he has this long 2 or 3 minute fade out with this orchestra just playing octaves B, the B note, and it underpinned everything so beautifully. So when we finally got to do it, and I walked in late for my own session to see this wonderful orchestra, I was floored. And
Wow.
No More is just it's just a wonderful song and a wonderful performance by all of us. So thank you for playing it.
Thank you for suggesting it, and we'll play it right now. And so you had the orchestra there kind of live as you tracked it. They didn't come in later.
No,
And
they came in. No, they overdubbed. There's no way I could have.
yeah,
I would have
okay.
been so intimidated by everyone in their dinner jackets playing this incredible song.
Yeah,
They overdubbed it.
yeah. All right. Well, here it comes. Here's Weep No More. Again, written by Simon Kirke.
Mary, don't you weep no more. Mary, don't you weep no more. 'Cause I got your letter today. Pack my bag and I'm on my way. So don't you weep no more. Don't you weep no more. Now dry your eyes. Don't you shed no tears. The sun is rising. Put away your fears. Well, I know I once done you wrong. I want to say I'm sorry and I'm coming back home. So don't you weep no more. Don't you weep no more. I hear your voice in the wind, and I feel your tears in the rain. Shadows of night are falling. Don't you hear me call your name? Well, I got your letter today.
Oh, bravo, Simon. Man, thank you for what a great song.
Thank you. I'm getting
Wow.
all emotional because Mick just played it so beautifully, and I think of him in his hospital bed, and it's just
Yeah.
sad how things have turned out. But we honor him, and I
Yeah.
want to give
Yeah.
him a shout out. He's my mate and one of the best guitarists I ever played with.
Yeah. Yeah. Amen. And what a fine job you did playing that song. I mean, playing a shuffle with real conviction. I mean, there was no messing around on that song. That was a serious shuffle.
Shuffles are hard, John,
Oh,
because a
shit,
real
yeah.
I did what I could because you have to play both hands. Dum, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom. You can't do doom, do, do, doom, do. It's too lopey
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like you're playing with hobnail boots. You know,
Right.
Right? It's got to be that. And Sonny
Yeah.
Freeman and Mick Fleetwood were the kings of that, and I did my best to honor that. But yeah,
Yeah,
thank you for
well
bringing
done.
it up.
Mick Shuffle and Don't Stop, Fleetwood Mac's
Oh,
Don't Stop. Yeah, I mean
yeah.
it's just epic. I agree. Mick is a dear favorite. I hope to have him on at some point. So yeah, but
You
man,
have
I was
his contact?
I don't have and
I'll get it for you because I know he
okay,
would love this show.
great.
He, he,
I
he
know.
goes, I'm sorry?
I was going to say, I know him from when, he came on to Zildjian while I brought him on board in the 90s from
Oh,
Peisty to Zildjian, and we worked together. And I lost touch with him when I
uh,
left. So yeah, that would
He
be
would
great.
love this. He would. He had the Hawaiian fire. He lost all his possessions in his house and
Yeah.
his club, and he's been going through a lot. And then Christine Perfect died last year, so he's had a bit of trouble in his life. But I do drop in on him occasionally and see how he is. But I'll ask him if he would be
Great.
up for it. He's a great guy and a wonderful raconteur and
Yeah.
he'd be a real asset to this show, I'm sure.
Well, thank you. I would appreciate that, Simon. We can talk about that. And
Sure.
great. I thought we'd move on to the next record and play a song that I think I alluded to this on the last show that we did together. Silver, Blue, and Gold, I think is, I'm being very biased in terms of your performance on this song because you mentioned, I think something from the first record might have been Ready for Love as being what you thought your best drum performance was, or one of your favorites. And I would certainly agree with that. But this song, Silver, Blue, and Gold, sticks out in my mind in terms of
Hmm.
what you built, the composition of all the different places you go in this song.
Hmm.
Um, it's really it's like a suite in terms of all the
I
different.
guess it is. I mean, once again,
Yeah.
it's like similar in landscape to Ready for Love, in that there are half times, there are full times, there are quiet
16ths. Yeah.
moments.
Yeah.
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 And there are drum rolls in the beginning, and they have to come in, brrrrum,
Yeah. Yeah.
on the downbeat. So and it was unusual because it was Paul's song completely, and he can be considering his pedigree as a blues, soul rock blues singer. He's got this incredible lyrical side to him.
Hmm.
And Silver, Blue, and Gold, we never really discovered what it was about, and it
I
became one of Bad Company's most popular songs ever.
yeah.
In fact, during the 76, 77 tour of America, people were shouting out for it because it was like, oh, all right, Shooting Star or Ready for Love or whatever, but Silver, Blue, and Gold. And we never really nailed it on stage for various reasons, much to my chagrin, because I love to play it. But yeah, let's give it a listen.
Okay, let's give it. And that makes me feel good. The band that I play in, we played this song years ago and we could never nail it on stage. We could, and I honestly, I studied your part and I'm not being that guy that's saying, oh, I had it right. But I really made sure that I knew every part of this song, but it's just such a hard song for, I think, any band you know, like to really nail this song. It's so it comforts me to know that even Bad Company had issues with nailing it.
We
So
had issues, John. We did have issues.
all right, this is such a great song, and it's a treat to play it and have you talk about it. So here it comes
Okay.
from Run with the Pack.
In the beginning, I believed every word that you said. Now that you're gone, my world is in shreds. Oh, you loved me and left me. You took all the things that I needed so bad. I'm standing here wondering, where is the love that I had? Oh, give me silver, blue, and gold, the color of the sky and gold. My rainbow is overdue. In the beginning, there was something of love that was mine. Now that it's gone, whoa, I'm crying. Oh, the time that it takes for a love to grow cold is a wonder to me. I'm walking around with my head hanging down. Tell me, where is she? Give me silver, blue, and gold, the color of the sky and gold. My rainbow is overdue. Don't forsake me, 'cause I love you. Don't forsake me, 'cause I love you. Give me silver, blue, and gold, the color of the sky and gold. My rainbow is overdue.
what an epic. I just, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, it
and
goes all over the place, doesn't it?
well, it does. It does. And I think that's the magic of it. The beauty is that, you're bringing the tempo back, and then you're bringing it's here. You're driving the bus the whole time. You take the tempo back down, and then you bring it back up during the choruses, and everybody's right there with you, obviously.
I never thought of that, John. That's a very good point. We brought the track in, the song back into the choruses with full tempo, which gave the chorus a lift.
Yeah, yeah.
We kept it at halftime. Give me silver, blue, and gold. It wouldn't have had the propulsion that it does, with full time behind it. So
Yeah.
out of 10 for pointing that out. I never thought
Yeah,
of it.
no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I've listened to this song so often, so many times, and I was hoping to play maybe just a little bit of the title track from that record, "Run with the Pack," just because it's such a great song and so notable. And our friend there, Paul Rogers, of course, great vocal performance, and you and the whole band. So let's play a little bit of this too, for completion. Yeah. This is some beautiful music right here.
Wow.
Oh man, there's no place to fade that song
No.
without. I mean, it's just too great to not play the entire thing. And again, you guys are so great at these, building these songs where you can, the last minute can just be something like that, where it's just this beautiful piece of music with these strings and it's
Honestly, John, that I believe, can't remember the key, maybe D minor. So the end section, la da 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 da, it's just D minor to C, D minor to C, goes on and on, D minor to C. But it's what Paul started playing on the piano, and we cut the piano live. He didn't overdub it. He started doing that 1/2 sort of, and that sort of triggered me to do.
okay.
And we kind of spurred each other on, and Mick and Boz were just sort of hanging on, while me and Paul sort of did our thing.
Yeah.
And then when we added the strings, it became this ostinato on the strings, and it just became
Yeah.
this wow.
Beautiful. And that did that happen sort of organically when you were like, it wasn't something when you wrote the song that Paul, so it happened in the studio just organically as you, yeah.
Because
Wow.
we didn't really know how we were going to finish it until we got to a sound check and started playing it live. But that's another story. So, it was easier to fade it and keep the suspense, but just sort of minimizing the suspense with a fade, because it was a song that couldn't really end.
Yeah. Yeah.
We just didn't know how to stop it unless we all fell over in a heap.
Oh man, what a great story. I love it. I love all the backstory stuff here. Well, let's if we can move on to I thought maybe we'd play Burnin' Sky from Burnin' Sky. And we're nearing the end here, just in terms of what I was going to play today. And I could always, beg you to do another one of these down the road when you have time, because there's lots more songs we could talk about. But again, another epic Bad Company track, obviously, and you're playing what you play in this is just, it's always resonated with me. So yeah, let's play it.
Okay.
Here we go.
The key to my design. on burning. Ah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Great bass drum work there at the end. Obviously, it's, not to say that it's a nod to your friend John Bonham, but I'm sure John was still with us when you recorded that. So
Yes, he was. Yeah.
I'm sure he
But I have to tip my hat to Boz Burrell, a wonderful bass player.
yeah, he
He's a
sounded,
little more jazz inclined, where jazz and R&B and rock combine. The blues is the glue, if you will. So
yeah.
Boz came from a little bit more of a jazzy background, and when we first started playing this, I was doing ba bom 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 bom, 2 and 4 ba bom bom, and he said, "Why don't you put in a little like hiccup, ba
Mm,
bom bom, gung gung?" And I thought, oh, "Fucking hell, all right, anything for a quiet life." And I've got to tell you, John, for the first take, it was difficult to do. It's like
yeah. Oh, yeah.
you're leaving out a little gap.
Yeah.
What clinched it for me is when I came into the choruses and did the regular 2 and 4, it really gelled it together. So by the time we came to the end section, I had this sort of hiccup in my brain, ba-boom, ba, gung, gung, and it kicked off this weird sort of unorthodox bass drum pattern, ba-doom, ba, gung, 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 ka, ba, ka, gung.
Yeah.
It wasn't a straight beat. It became a sort of a mixture of hiccups and whatever, but it worked, and I have to thank Boz Burrell for that.
Yeah. And Boss had come from King Crimson, right? I mean, he had that
Correct.
sort of more progressive and yeah, I mean it's very funky. It really is. When you and Boss together right there are just really kind of like it takes it to another place, that whole
Well, no,
pattern that you play.
he hadn't been playing bass very long. I think when he joined King Crimson, God knows how he got to be in one of the biggest prog rock bands in England in the 70s. He'd only been playing bass less than a year.
Wow. I didn't
Yeah,
know that. Yeah.
I had
Wow.
no idea. And he managed to get the gig. He could sing a little bit, but he was learning on this Ampeg scroll neck fretless. It's like playing a
Oh,
piano leg with strings.
yeah.
And yeah, he loved this bass. Uh,
Wow.
so when he joined Bad Company, I think he'd only been playing bass a couple of years, but he had this different approach to time signatures and meters, and he was always learning. So
Yeah.
it's a work in progress, Boz, right up until the end.
Yeah. Great.
In
Great
fact,
bass player.
he died playing scales.
Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah, he was
Oh.
showing scales to a friend of his. They
Oh.
were both had one bass and one had a guitar, and he was practicing something, and he just had a heart attack and slid under the table.
Oh, I didn't know he had gone that way. Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
God bless him.
A
Yeah.
true musician's way to go.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. Boy. One more track that we play, and I thought maybe we just move on to the next record. Not surprising, Rock and Roll Fantasy.
Ah,
Great song, great song. And I know it's sort of from the era of like electronic drums. We're using the
correct.
syndromes, and I was going
Syndrome.
to ask you, were you actually using them at that time, or was it just something you tried for this record? Or
I
I
did,
didn't.
someone had told me about them, and we had a set delivered down to the studio. I didn't like them, quite honestly, but Paul Rogers loved them.
You did. Okay.
He played them on the track, and in fact, he overplayed. We had to pull out. They were everywhere.
Okay. So that's Paul. Okay, that's not
Yeah,
you.
so
Okay.
we sort of we pruned them down, and then he said you have to bring them on the road. So I had a set on the road, and I used them only on
On that
and
song.
sometimes if we hadn't had a sound check properly, and you'd hit it, go boing. So
Yeah.
trust me, after that tour, they went in the bin.
I remember when they were popular in the late 70s, and I'd see a friend of mine have them in his band, and they would often miss trigger, or I forget the term they use, but you're right. I mean, you could plug the brain in and it could just start going, just kind of going, and
Horrible.
yeah.
Cacophony. A cacophony.
Well, if you don't mind, can we play a little bit of this song just to play
Sure.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great song, and you and the band sound great. So here comes Rock and Roll Fantasy from Desolation Angels, and yeah, here we go.
Here come the jesters, 1, 2, 3. It's all part of my fantasy. I love the music and I love to see the crowd dancing in the aisles and singing out loud. Yeah. Here come the dancers, one by one. Your mama's calling, but you're having fun. You'll find you're dancing on that number 9 cloud. Put your head together now and sing it out loud. It's all part of my rock and roll fantasy. It's all part of my rock and roll dream. Yeah. It's all part of my rock and roll fantasy. It's all part of my rock and roll dream. Put up the spotlights, one and all. And let the feeling get down to your soul. The music's so loud you can hear the sound. Reaching for the sky, turning up the ground. It's all part of my rock and roll fantasy. It's all part of my rock and roll dream. Oh yeah. It's all part of my rock and roll fantasy. It's all part of my rock and roll
All right. Thank you for indulging me on that one, and all these other songs today, Simon.
A pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Any final thoughts or words or anything you want to pass on to the
Really?
folks?
If you want to do a part 3, I'm happy with that. Not a lot of people know that we have to thank Leslie West
Okay.
song, because what happened was he sent Paul this octave divider, and you plug it into your guitar and it divides an E string into octaves. So when we arrived at the Ridge Farm Studios where we recorded Desolation Angels, I kept hearing this down, 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 over and over and over again. And I walked in and Paul was sat, he's by himself with his guitar playing this riff. And he said, listen to this. And he'd hit the foot pedal. And it was like ding, 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 ding. And then he hit it again. Bam, bam, bam. I said,
Oh
that's
man.
fantastic, man. That's fantastic. And, I think he wrote the song in about an hour.
Is that opening riff? Is that Paul or is that Mick that plays that?
Well, Mick would have played it. You know
Yeah.
what? I'm not quite sure because Paul was
Oh,
a very, very good guitarist.
yeah, yeah.
He might have played it. He might have. I don't
Wow.
honestly remember, but we thank Leslie West for that.
All right, Les. Early days of Bad Company, Paul was often playing rhythm guitar, right? I mean, it was often.
Yes.
I feel like I saw pictures, and then later he more or less kind of
He
maybe most.
relinquished, he gave
Yeah.
over the duties. But in Free, the last 3 or 4 months of Free, when we went to Japan, because Paul Kossoff was too ill,
Mm.
and Paul said, "Fuck it, I'll play guitar." And he
Ah,
did. He played
yeah.
really well. He plays like Albert King. He's got that very simple bluesy Albert King style, as well as being a very good rhythm player.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
he'd play guitar, man, and he was really, really good.
yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, what a talent and great piano player, and
Yeah.
like yourself. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, Simon, thank you so much. Yeah, I would love to do another one of these down the road. I'll give you a break though because I know you're getting inundated leading up to the Rock and Roll
yeah,
Hall of Fame, and remind everybody to get out there and vote if you haven't.
please do.
Yeah, please do, and vote often. In fact,
Yeah, every 24 hours, I believe you can vote. So
yeah.
I understand we're out of 14 or 12 nominations, we are now fourth.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
we're climbing up there. But Fish, a lot of people love Fish. They're way ahead of everyone.
Uh,
Go figure.
well,
That's
yeah,
all
we,
right.
good for them. But to me, there's something about a band that, I mean, you've been such a big part of so many people's lives, for so long. And I don't think I'm speaking just for myself when I say that. There's so many people that you've touched our lives. Your music is the soundtrack, and
Thank
so thank you, Simon. You're a treasure. You really are.
thank
You
you,
know,
man.
yeah. Thank you. As John Good said, you're a wonderful gentleman. So thank you so much, everybody. Big
Thank
hand for Simon Kirk. And Simon, if you wouldn't mind hanging with me for 1 second, and we'll say goodbye. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you soon. All right, that's my show. If you enjoyed it, give it a like, leave a comment, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can also download the podcast on all podcast platforms. A reminder that Live from My Drum Room t-shirts and hoodies are available, and 100% of the proceeds go toward a scholarship I've created with the Percussive Arts Society. Information on ordering Live from My Drum Room merch is in the show notes, and you can also email or text me with any questions at livefrommydrumroom@gmail.com. Thanks to everyone who's bought a t-shirt and a hoodie so far. You're supporting a great cause, and I really appreciate it. And remember, no drummers are harmed on any show. And drummers, when in doubt, leave it out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.